Good day, everyone. Happy weekend. I know you are waiting for your program, Inside Presidency. Inside Presidency this week, a lot happens. This is GTV Africa, live from our studio. I'm Bemiga Olamikon.
This morning I presented a memo for the construction of Damaturu water supply project in Yobe State in favor of 3 contractors at the total sum of 8.43 billion naira. The contracts are for Lot A, Malam Matari and Service Center water supply project. Lot B, construction water supply at Murufa Kalam, and Lot C, water supply scheme at Sumsuma. They are all groundwater or borehole-based projects, but spread over a wide distance because they are covering 3 major cities. They will be mostly solar-based, and also it's in response to the critical needs of these localities within Yobe State, especially as they've been suffering a lot since these are areas that were affected by the insurgencies, the Boko Haram insurgency several years ago, and therefore we need to support their water supply needs. And of course, this is a very harsh Sahelian region where urban surface water is even difficult to come by. So we hope that with this intervention, that the problem of water supply in this location will be greatly enhanced, and the completion period is 24 months. Thank you very much.
I presented a memo to Council, which is the National Policy on Aging. And the objective of this memo is to have a society where older persons are guaranteed security, independence, participation, comprehensive care, self-fulfillment, and dignity. The policy covers an intersecting spectrum of issues and opportunities for older persons in Nigeria, older women and men in urban and rural areas, older persons living with disabilities, older migrants, persons internally displaced, older persons, poor older persons, and older persons that are full of vigor, contributing to the progress of families, communities, and the larger society. I'm pleased to inform you that Council has graciously, Mr. President and Council has graciously approved the national policy on aging in this country. Thank you very much. I've mentioned that the main objective is to have a society where older persons are guaranteed security, independence, participation, comprehensive care, self-fulfillment, and dignity. And this can be achieved through a set of carefully crafted and strategic objectives that the policy seeks to ensure, and that this the fundamental human rights and dignity of older persons by providing an enabling environment, a friendly environment, an age-friendly environment for the older persons in this country. Thank you very much.
Need of establishing National ICT Park, that is National Information and Communications Technology Park. This park, PART, is going to be the national one, and is going to be established by the federal government here in the central area in Abuja. We have already acquired a land which is approximately 4,281 square meters, where this National ICT Park is going to be established. And the wisdom behind National ICT Park is to be a center where all other public and private ICT hubs and centers are going to be coordinated by the federal government of Nigeria, where we identify our young innovators with crazy and disruptive ideas. We mentor them. Government will provide the necessary support they need, We provide the enabling environment for them to come and utilize and come up with disruptive technologies, whether it is in software or emerging technologies or any field of knowledge. This is the first of its kind in Nigeria. We have so many ICT parks and hubs. However, mostly they are regional, but this one is going to be a central, and it will be a center of job creation for our team in youth. It will be a center where technology is going to be developed and incubated. It is also going to be a center that will play a significant role in reducing the rate of unemployment in Nigeria, and address the gap that has existed with regards to unemployability. The Federal Executive Council has approved the memo, and we are going to start the process of establishing it here in Abuja Central area, and this is a good news for our youth. Particularly, we plan and hope that Abuja is going to be another Silicon Valley of Nigeria. Thank you very much. I'm surprised this question is coming from a journalist. When we mention ICT Park or ICT Hub, HUB, it is a center where citizens that have good ideas on technology, particularly ICT, will be trained, will be mentored, their ideas will be incubated. Secondly, cybersecurity is part of the areas that are going to be considered in that place. But as a government, our interest is about how to protect and how to secure our cyberspace or computer space. I hope you are following. So that center should be useful to our citizens that have ideas on the cybersecurity, where they can come and be trained, and if they come up with any startup, they can be supported by the federal government of Nigeria. I hope I have answered your question. Thank you. Firstly, what I want you to know, that National Identification Number, NIN, has been established by law. That is National Identity Management Commission Act 2007. In that act, under Section 16, the categories of people to be registered are mentioned. Number 1, citizens. Number 2, permanent residents. And number 3, lawful and residents that are to stay for a minimum of 24 months. That Section 16 emphasizes the fact that that registration is a must, is not optional, is mandatory. Section 27 of NIMC Act also comes up with some categories of transactions that you must obtain national identification before you partake in. 1, by law, it is mandatory for you to have national identification number before you open an account. It is clearly stated there. By law, you must obtain NIN number before you pay tax. By law, you must obtain national identification number before you register for, you obtain voters registration. By law, you must obtain national identification number before you obtain traveling passport, and many other things. So this is what the law says. Firstly, for you to have NI number is not optional, it's mandatory as a citizen or lawful or legal residence. Number 2, it is mandatory to obtain for these transactions, including any government service. Is not allowed by law to partake in any government service without the number. Section 29 of that law comes up with punishment or penalty in a situation where someone stays without obtaining, or he partakes in the transaction, of fine or imprisonment, or both of them. This law has been in place for the first 14 years. And as the lawyers say, ignorance of the law is not an excuse. So what we said, it was during National Economic Council, chaired by His Excellency the Vice President, that the issue was addressed. It's not about, even the proper word is not replacement, it is more of harmonization. Why do I say so? Firstly, this national identification number is mandatory for you and I, including a child born today. He is given 60 days, maximum of 180 days that you must obtain that number for him, according to the law. So you see, national identification number is mandatory, while BVN is not mandatory for citizens, but only for those that are willing to open an account. 2, BVN is a policy of Central Bank of Nigeria, which is a very effective one and is highly commendable. It is their policy, while NI number is a law of the country. Law of the country is stronger than a policy of one institution. So this is a law. Thirdly, you can only obtain BVN when you need to open a bank account. But if you don't need bank account, it is not applicable to you. But NIN number, whether you need to open a bank account or not, it is mandatory as a citizen that you must obtain. And finally, what many of us need to understand, and you have a critical role to play because media is the major stakeholder, is the fact that no any nation in the world can develop without a national database. Our national database is National Identification Database. We must contribute our quota to ensure that we have a complete and effective database in place that will guide us in security, that will guide us in national planning, budgetary provision, social intervention, and many more. It is mandatory. In the US, you have social security number. In the UK, you have national insurance number. In India, with their population, you have Aadhaar, and many nations. So this is the key. It is called foundational ID. It is the foundation of building any economy in the world. So what we said there is not just replacement, but rather each and every account must be linked up with national identity because it is a requirement by law. If Central Bank of Nigeria wishes to retain their BVN, we don't have any objection. But what the law says, an account must be attached to national identification number, meaning that the owner of the account must have that identification, and it is the primary evidence of being a citizen of Nigeria based on the law. It is the primary evidence that you are a citizen of this country. So it is not about replacement, but rather ensure that all bank holders obtain national identification number as required by the law of the country. And I do hope I have answered your question. There must be a time frame. Today, after leaving here, I may have another discussion with civilian governor. Yesterday, I had a discussion with him, and today we will have another discussion. There must be a time for our citizens to do. It is a very responsible government you are dealing with. So any responsible government must have a timeline and will make the process easier for its citizens. Thank you very much for asking very important questions. Firstly, about the cost that I have been asked, the amount is 8,984,439,951 naira and 65 kobo. And this is the amount. There is a budgetary provision of 1 billion in 2020 budget, which is still active and valid until the end of March 2021. So there is only a budgetary of 1 billion. So it means that there is an amount to begin the project. And it all depends on budgetary provision and fund releasing before we can confirm when is the actual time to complete the project. Secondly, as you know, our ministry is more of revenue generating ministry. We don't have big budget. We only generate fund for government to give to other ministries to spend. Even during this lockdown, Ministry of Communications and Digital Economy and its parastatal generated huge amount of money that has been supporting this country. Our contribution to GDP today is more than 17.83%, more than double that of oil and gas. So our budget is not up to 1% of what we generate for other government institutions to spend. So that is why we only have 1 billion for now, but we do hope with the interest of Mr. President and his administration, most probably government will look into other ways that the budget can be funded legitimately. And secondly, on the issue of internet fraud doesn't require ICT Park to handle it. We have so many laws and policies in place to deal with internet fraud, and we have institutions that are to play a significant role. If you look at NIDA Act 2006, they are mandated by law to enhance the security of the country through IT. If you look at NCC Act, that is NCA Act 2003, Section 22, they have been mandated by law to ensure the security of our computer space or cyberspace in the country. It is their responsibility. If you look at NIMC Act 2007, they have been mandated to ensure the protection of citizens' data and ensure that any unauthorized person gets access to it. So if you look at these laws, you will discover we already have a provision and institutions that are mandated to do that. And they have been doing that to the best of their ability, because now, for example, we have a computer emergency response and readiness team, where all potential attacks in the country are being monitored by NIDA and another one by NCC, and they are reporting to me almost on a daily basis when there is any potential attack, and we notify relevant institutions to take precautions. So that ICT park, we can train our citizens on how to be secured online, but it has nothing to do for now with handling internet fraud, except to guide. And the final one about delocation. Firstly, as advised that we need to consider the outskirts of Abuja or other places. It is a brilliant idea, but I want to let you know that federal government has another ongoing effort in Abuja Technology Village. Secondly, this one, as I said, is the national one. Being the national one and the headquarters of our national ICT parks in the country, there is a wisdom why it is located in Abuja. Thirdly, the land has been in place for the ministry and its parastatal. So you cannot keep away what you have in a strategic place and start looking for something outskirts where you are not sure of the security of the facility. Being the national ICT park, that is to coordinate all other ICT parks in the country, there is a wisdom why it should be at the central area in order to coordinate effectively, to be more secured and to have more access to a high quality broadband for the use of our citizens. And I hope I have answered the question. Thank you very much.
Explain better the DSO and the award of the contracts. The contracts that were awarded is actually for completion of the digital switchover. It's not a penalty for missing the deadlines. Digital switchover is teamwork. There are many service providers. For instance, we have those who would give us digital television system software services. We have signal distribution services. We have those who make the boxes. We have those who man the call center, and then those who provide satellite and ground services. So it's not the money we are paying is for the service providers to complete this, digital switchover to allow us to roll out in more cities, so that by the time we finish, we'll have rolled out in virtually every state of the federation. So it's not a penalty for, for missing the deadline. Why it is important for us to join those who have migrated from analog to digital. So if we don't do so, you are going to have border interferences in your reception. You will not get clear pictures, and then it also poses a security threat. In addition to the fact that since the whole world is moving from analog to digital, anybody who today has an analog equipment will soon find it difficult to get spare parts. In addition, it is going to generate, money, a lot of money for the government, because right now, most of the, radio and television stations who are analog, they are occupying spectrum. When they move to digital, they will occupy less spectrum, and the excess spectrum can be sold to the telecoms company. So there's a lot of advantage in moving from analog to digital. Apart from the fact that you get better services, it creates more jobs, there are more television stations, and the like. Thank you. You see, let me start with the Bankers Committee. The Bankers Committee, it's a conglomerate of all banks in Nigeria, and they dedicate a percentage of all their profits as corporate social responsibilities. So they decide every year what to do with that money. This year, 2020, they decided that they are going to invest that money in the creative industry.
I'm delighted to preside over the groundbreaking ceremony for commencement of the construction of yet another vital transportation infrastructure. The rail line that traverses the major commercial and administrative center of Kano and passes through other economic hubs of the country, including Kazaure, Daura, Katsina, and up to the border town of Jibia and Niger Republic city of Maradi. The cities of Jibia and Maradi constitute a significant trading core between Nigeria and Niger Republic, a tradition dating back many centuries. This vital infrastructure line will establish an end-to-end logistics supply chain in railway transport services between northern and southern regions of the country, reaching Nigerian southern ports of Lagos and Warri. The entire route encompasses territory inhabited by close to 80 million people across 10 states of the country. This project has a branch line to Dutse, the capital of Jigawa State, to open up this corridor, which is endowed with vast resources. The Kano-Maradi rail line has been identified as a viable line that will significantly enhance the movement of passengers and freight to the hinterland, especially raw materials from both agricultural and mineral resources for our industries. The project, when completed, would serve import and export of goods for Niger Republic and other countries in the sub-region through Nigerian ports. The country would earn revenue through expansion of trade and commerce, while the people of Niger Republic will benefit from ease of transportation, logistics at affordable cost in their import and export businesses. The connection to Niger Republic through rail will also foster trans-Sahara trade and contribute to the expected gains in the African Continental Free Trade Area Agreement. The construction company handling this project, Messrs. Motor Angel Nigeria Limited, is supporting knowledge and technology transfer by investing in the establishment of a learning institution for transportation and railway science. This is commendable. Distinguished guests, this admiration in clear recognition of the challenges posed to our economic growth by absence of strong and effective infrastructure has remained consistent in her effort at closing this gap. We have, in the rail sector, embarked on the completion of the 1,424 kilometers Lagos to Kano rail line to join the one being flagged off today for the country's western axis. On the eastern corridor of the country, the Port Harcourt, Enugu, Makadi, Maiduguri rail line, with branches to Owerri, Imo State, and Damaturu, Yobe State, have been awarded for reconstruction to include a deep sea port in Bonny Island and a railway industrial park in Port Harcourt, with the objectives of achieving a vibrant and functional railway infrastructure in the eastern part of the country. The Federal Ministry of Transportation and Ministry of Finance have been directed to vigorously act on engagement and concluding financial arrangement with appropriate co-financers to partner with the federal government for the development of the West-East Coast Rail Line from Lagos to Calabar and linking Onitsha, Benin, Warri, Yenagoa, Port Harcourt, Aba, and Uyo. Furthermore, contract for the important Central Railway traversing Itape, Barrow, Abuja, with connection to Lokoja, and a new seaport in Warri has been signed and is expected to achieve appreciable level of completion during the tenure of this administration. Distinguished guests, I believe when all these initiatives of our administration are realized, the country would have overcome the infrastructural deficiency in the transportation sector. Businesses will be able to take full advantage of availability of an affordable and effective transportation backbone that can transform industrial and economic activity to a higher level. I also enjoin our private sectors to invest and participate in the realization of these very promising economic opportunities. I now have the honor to perform the groundbreaking ceremony for the Kano Maradi standard gauge rail line and direct the Honorable Minister of Transportation to flag off the project. Thank you, and God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
Go. Well, thank you for your time. You've seen what happens inside Presidency this week. I'm sure you are now updated, most especially on the issue of NIN. Very soon, everyone must have it because the government has already made sure that if you don't have it, you will not be able to do a lot of things. Driver's license, opening of account, almost everything, you must have your NIN. Bros, sisters, my friends, our viewers, kindly proceed and make sure you get your number so that things will be so easy for you. And one thing I want to plead with you is that you subscribe to our YouTube channel, GTV Africa, and like our Facebook page, GTV Africa Services. Till next time, when I come back with happenings inside Presidency, I am Bemiga Olamikon. your friend, your brother, your guy. Kindly subscribe to our YouTube channel. Peace be unto you.